Could I ask you briefly about your own position? You're still suspended from the Labour Party for, quote, bringing the party into disrepute over comments you made about Hitler and Zionism. Have you had any conversation with the party about a way back?
Well, basically, I'm still, it's now 4 months since I was suspended. I'm still waiting for the committee to sit down and decide whether what I said was true or not. And I think they keep putting it off because the simple fact is, I mean, I've got so much evidence that says what I was saying is true. I mean, particularly striking, if you go to the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem, one of the pamphlets they sell to tourists is about the deal that Hitler did with the Zionists in the 1930s. So I don't think anyone's going to accuse the Holocaust Memorial management of being anti-Semitic.
Right, so you think they're delaying it because they think there's so much evidence that what you said is true. You probably know, Mr Livingstone, the board...
There's so much evidence.
The Board of Deputies of British Jews want Labour to expel you immediately after you reiterated your views on Hitler and Zionism on Vanessa Feltz's radio programme yesterday.
I'm not surprised because if you actually look at the evidence that the chairman of the Board of Deputies gave to Keith Vass's committee, he opened by saying, for Ken Livingstone to have said that Hitler was a Zionist is deeply offensive. Well, if I'd said Hitler was a Zionist, I wouldn't just have apologised, I've gone straight to my doctor to check that I wasn't in the first stages of dementia. To suggest that Hitler was a Zionist is mad. He loathed and feared Jews all his life, but he did do a deal with the Zionist movement in the 1930s. And that led to 66,000 German Jews going to what is now Israel and escaping the Holocaust.
I'll just read you a quote from Marie van der Zijl, who's Vice President of the Board of Deputies. In 2016, Ken Livingstone seems to want to rewrite history to make it seem like Zionism was responsible for the Holocaust, which is as false as it is grotesquely offensive. Every day that Labour does not expel him is a stain on the party.
Well, it's just quite simple. Go on the websites, check. You can see the interview with Norman Finkelstein defending everything I said. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of books that, by academics looking at the fact that Hitler signed a deal and worked with the Zionist movement throughout the 1930s. Now, I've not even criticised that. I mean, the Zionist movement had to deal with the fact that Hitler was running Germany. If they were going to try and save Jews, they had to do some sort of deal with him.
Are you not bothered about hurting Jewish people by repeating your views?
I said at the time, if anybody has been offended by what I said, I'm truly sorry about that. But I've been struck by the number of people who come up to me on the street saying, look, I'm Jewish, I know what you said is true. Don't give in to this bullying. And the simple fact is that, and the reason I suspect we've waited 4 months for my hearing and still no sign of it, is that the people doing the work on this know that what I said is true.
Right. What is offending people, apart from anything else, is this conflating of Hitler with Zionism?
I'm not conflating Hitler with Zionism. I'm simply saying Hitler did a deal which was signed off about 3 or 4 months after he became Germany's Chancellor, and he stuck to that deal right up until 1940. And during that period, 66,000 German Jews were moved to Palestine. He also, Adolf Eichmann negotiated a deal with the Zionist movement to give them guns which they could use in their underground army. I mean, he passed a law that the only 2 flags that could be flown in Germany were the swastika and the Zionist Star of David. I mean, it isn't just a one-off thing. There was a whole working relationship over the 1930s. And you can't blame the Zionists. They were there, they were in Germany. They had a horrendous and brutal government, but they had no option but to work with it.
Thank you for your time this morning.